So how many of you are willing to admit that you ever had a MySpace back in the day? Alright, so then how many more of you are willing to admit that you had a Facebook, or still do? Alright, pretty much all of you. So I'm sure most of you can sympathize with me where I'll find myself 1 a.m. chatting with a friend on Facebook and I'm like, hey, I had a 7:40 in the morning. I should probably go to bed. So I can't imagine what life would be like without social media, without things like Facebook, instant messaging, etc., etc. So I'm going to take you through the evolution of social media and what was before Facebook and what we have and the technologies that may become. Originally there was Usenet, which was a set of articles that were distributed for worldwide discussion and people could put posts on them. Everything that was posted on it was a continuation of the post before, so kind of like a thread that we would say now. You could post articles, messages, responses, and basically it just created a chain. That leads to the bulletin board system, which allowed users to log in, but since you could only log in one at a time, it was kind of like instant messaging, except really, really slow. And that brings us to instant messaging. I'm sure many of you had instant messaging like AOL, something like that. You can share links and files, and it's like real-time chat where you can chat back and forth really quickly. Kind of like a phone conversation, but less personal. We advanced from just chatting with our friends to one of the first social networks, which was 6 Degrees, started in '97. It was the first modern network, and it allowed users to create a profile. So you could become friends and share info, but basically it would be sharing whatever info you chose to share. According to social network sites, Definition, History, and Scholarship by D.M. Boyd, the 6 Degree was ahead of its time because most users, this was back in a time when internet wasn't super common, so most people didn't have it and they didn't want to become friends with total strangers. So it kind of just collapsed on itself because so many people had it. Then there was LiveJournal, which was built around blogs, and it let users follow and interact with greater ease than 6 Degrees because there was a user info page where you could connect with your friends, and then they could post messages on your wall. And also it was a journal, which was the first form of sharing your feelings, and people could comment on it, other people who clearly had nothing better to do. And that, having nothing better to do, takes me to massive multiplayer online role-playing games. Something like WoW, that's the most common. It has over 12 million registered users, according to its website. I don't know if any of you play it. It's popular due to not only you play the game, but you interact with other people playing the game. Also, you can go on community sites and chat, share info, stuff like that. More modern day would be, the original concept would be Friendster. I personally had never heard of it until I started this research. It was competing with Match.com as kind of a dating website. It matched friends of friends with people. And it grew in popularity because a lot of people would just add random people since you could only become friends of friends. So you just added everyone. But it grew in such popularity that the server kind of collapsed because it just the technology couldn't take it. And then MySpace. So MySpace, the nice little logo here, it says a place to have music. And one of the biggest things about MySpace was that you could listen to music for free. And a lot of local bands were discovered that way because the users could listen to them and they really liked that. Another cool thing about MySpace was that you could customize your profile with whatever background you wanted. And I don't know if anyone here played around with the HTML formatting. I know that personally caused me a lot of frustration. I'm not technologically advanced or anything, but that was a really cool thing about it. And then that leads us to the latest, which is Facebook. It helps you connect and share with the people in your life if you don't want to pick up the telephone. I'm sure many of you are guilty of Facebook stalking, where you'll creep on people's profiles, look at their pictures, things like that. It started off in 2003 as a Harvard-only network. And then in 2006, it became worldwide. According to What's Actually on Your Mind by Shane Hibbs, Facebook is like being a fly on the wall at your high school reunion, and that basically you can just observe everyone around you. You don't necessarily have to get involved. But one of the cool things about it that like no other system before it had was like real-time status updates, and people can like comment on that, and it helps you keep up to date with your friends. As the internet has become more widespread and social networking has grown in popularity, it just helps people to have like become more connected with their friends and family, and it allows them to communicate more easily.